This is Dave McCain with the Right Tree Genealogy. I'm doing another video on FamilySearch. These are a few errors in indexing that I have found, but it could apply to Ancestry.com, it could apply to MyHeritage, it could apply to Find My Past, any of them. It just so happens that these are a couple that I found on FamilySearch. It's also a point as the new format that they have that changed as of October 2021. So it's good to see how to get into the records page. So let's get into this. If you watched my previous videos, it doesn't look quite like this. I want to go ahead and show another quick video. And when I'm doing this video, this is on the new form as of October 2021. I want to type in a given surname, and it's McCain in this case. I want to click on More for my search, and I want to go to Place is Kentucky, and I'm going to put a date range here just for the sake of this research of 1810, and hit search. That's all I'm going to put in there. And the way the screen comes up now is a lot different than what it did before. It may have always come up for you this way, but for me as a researcher, October 2021, it comes up this way. And I searched the name McCain only. I searched for Kentucky, and I gave a date range. Even with that said, it still comes up with census records from 1880. It just happens to be referencing the fact that they were in Kentucky in 1804. But the purpose of this video is related to error that I found literally today as I was doing this search. I typed in that date range, and now I want to say, okay, I want it to be James McCain, because that's a particular person of interest on this video. And it comes up with James 1880, and then here's a marriage in Harrison County. That seems quite interesting. James McCain was the groom, and it was October 2nd, 1801, so this is important to look at. This is Elizabeth Collier, or Collier. So when you look at this in FamilySearch, you have an option. You see the camera. The camera tells you you actually have an image you can view. So you click on that. And remember, I went in for James McCain. Now I'm going to zoom in on this. And it's dead in the middle of the page. This is where an indexing error occurred. It says October 22nd, James McCain. No, that's not McCain, but that's what they indexed it as. They assumed this was an E. If you look at this, there's the M. This is the little C that they would write back in the time. This is a capital C, A, N, and then that's a dot. That's a period. That's when he stopped writing this. And then this is the and symbol and Elizabeth Collier. So the Collier is correct. And they say, well, how do you know that that's not an E? Well, how he does an E here. This is how he does an E here. You look at all the different E's. It doesn't end in a point at the top. Here's another one when he ended this with an E, and then that's just his end point when he got done writing. That is just a stop of the writing and picking up the pen. So I wanted to show that one as an important item. We're going to back up. That's an error found in indexing. So if you're looking that up and you type in McCann, you're not going to see that as McCann. You're going to find that as McCain. When we change that to McCann, this is what it's finding. It's not finding that same name we just found. So that is an indexing error. One thing we can actually do to help this, however, when you find something like this, you can go into this record. You can type edit the name. Now only do this if you're confident that that is an error that you have found. And you say incorrect indexing. So now when I looked at this, at the bottom I typed in optional note. As I look at this document, there's the There's the name Molly Wright with an E. There's the word above here. There's the word fight here. They're all distinctive E's. This is literally just him finishing his period. And this can occur often when you're researching names that are similar to other names. McCann and McCain are not the same name, but they're confused quite often and are transcribed quite often when people look at them, especially when this is the pen this was written with, that if it sits there for any period of time, you'll see a heavy dot. Even like the name Jacob here, J-A-C-O-B, when it gets done, before he lifts up the pen, it puts a big ink blot there. From the indexing perspective, I did go in and go under residence, Kentucky, and type in the 1790 and 1810. Originally I had it set as any. I've changed that to residence. But going back into the one that I referenced, when you go into the notes and the edit page, you can see that it shows James McCann and it shows James McCain. On FamilySearch, this is an active change. I do not recommend making these changes unless you're confident that the error is there in indexing, and this is an example of one that is an error in indexing that I have found. Now, if we go back to the original page and go into the image itself, now we could have done it from that other page, but I wanted to show you it from the indexing page. So when we go back into it now, it now is going to show it highlighted because it has been changed, but now a person can easily find where that name is on the page. Just remember, only make these changes if you're confident in them. If you're not, make a note to yourself and research the name further. We're going to go out here and search another name. And in this case, we're going to say one that had appeared in one of my previous videos, A-H-E. I changed it to 1790 to 1830. And when I did this search, I have 339 matches. Very top one is already highlighted, and there's a reason for it. But I just want to say I found that name. Well, let's just say I wanted exactly that name. That's exactly the one I'm looking for. And the reason I'm doing this is a very specific one I'm searching so that you see what I found. The index shows this as Joseph Call or McKay, depending on how you want to say this. So we're going to go into it. Notice it says there's the view details. And I want you to notice what's something that's already happened here. This is one that I've already edited in the past and attached notes to it. This is the name it was, this is the name it is. But let me show you why I made this edit. The reason it was indexed as Joseph McCall or McKay or McKay was that they interpreted this as an H. So they said this is M-C-A-H-E. But in fact, this is as far as I can zoom in on my computer, this is actually M-C-A-N-E. The name above it is John Sellers, and this is a junior. And when they have their J coming down and looping all the way down, it loops literally just on top of where the N folds in. So this is another indexing error. And again, people are human. People make mistakes. This is one I corrected a while back, and I wanted to show you an example of one over time. It ends up cycling in. So that's two examples on FamilySearch. And again, not picking on FamilySearch. It just so happens to be the one that I found that easy for me to find for you to see. So now we're going to change this just to see if it's going to show up both ways. We're going to change this. And now look, it shows up the 1820 says McCain. So it's telling you when you're doing the indexing, after you do this fix, it's going to still show up both ways because the original index done by someone and by the corrected index by an individual like myself. Remember this, FamilySearch is an active database, meaning people can go in and make changes. Only make changes if you're confident in your change. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, subscribing, and clicking the bell notification for future content.